The memory of the hospital room's walls lingers vividly. Their hue, a muted sage reminiscent of faded mint leaves, softer than vibrant, but never soothing. It's strange how that color sticks in my mind, perhaps because it's less painful than recalling the expression on her face when our world shattered. Those walls, painted in a shade meant to pacify, only amplified the tension. A silent mockery of calm in a place where truth unraveled. Hospitals, with their sterile facades and hushed promises of healing, are woven with subtle deceptions. And that day, every lie came undone. The moment should have been one of unbridled joy, a pinnacle of dreams fulfilled. My wife Emily had just brought our son into the world. Our son. That's what I clung to, what I needed to believe. Her hair clung to her sweat-dampened forehead, her body weary from labor. Yet her eyes held a piercing intensity as she snatched the birth certificate from the nurse's outstretched hand. "His name will be Nathan," she declared, her pen scratching across the paper with purpose. "Nathan Elise Carter." Elise, her mother's name, not mine. No trace of my family. Not even a nod in the middle name. I edged closer, my voice low but firm. "Emily, we discussed this. We agreed his middle name would be Thomas, after my grandfather." She didn't glance up, her fingers tightening around the pen as she continued writing. "I've decided otherwise," she said, her tone clipped. I swallowed, my chest tightening. "This isn't right, Emily. We're supposed to be partners in this." Her head whipped toward me. Exhaustion etched into her features. But now there was something sharper, a glint of defiance. "Partners?" she scoffed, her laugh brittle and devoid of warmth. "You're lucky I even let you stay in the room." My stomach churned, a sickening twist of dread. The nurse, standing nearby, shifted her weight, her eyes darting to mine before settling on the floor. Then, in a voice just above a whisper, she murmured, "Should I tell her what we found?" A cold wave crashed over me. "What we found?" I echoed, barely audible. Emily's brow furrowed, her grip on the pen faltering. "What did you say?" The nurse straightened, her face a mask of professionalism, but her hesitation betrayed her. "Mr. Carter, could you step outside with me for a moment?" Emily's eyes narrowed, her voice cutting through the air. "No, whatever it is, say it here. Don't play games." The nurse's lips pressed into a thin line, and in that instant, I sensed it. A weight far heavier than a dispute over a name. Then she spoke, her words slicing through the room like a blade. "Your son's blood type doesn't align with your husband's." The world stilled. Somewhere beyond the door, a monitor beeped faintly, voices murmured in the corridor. But inside that sage-colored room, time froze. Emily's face drained of color, her breath catching. The nurse exhaled, her voice steady but gentle. "We conducted routine tests on the newborn, including blood typing. Mr. Carter's blood type is B positive. Your son's is a negative." Emily's lips parted, her hand trembling where it clutched the birth certificate. That can't be right," she stammered. The nurse's expression softened, but her words left no room for doubt. "It's possible only if Mr. Carter isn't the biological father." The air grew heavy, suffocating. Emily's fingers gripped the pen so tightly her knuckles whitened. I stood rooted, my pulse pounding in my ears, my throat too dry to speak. She turned to me, her eyes wide, searching, desperate. "Daniel!" She whispered my name, a plea. I stepped back, the ground unsteady beneath me. "Don't!" I managed, my voice hollow. Tears brimmed in her eyes, spilling over. "It's not what it seems," she said, her voice cracking. A bitter laugh escaped me. "Not what it seems, Emily? Are you really going to pretend this is some kind of error?" She shook her head, rapid, frantic, but no words came. Then, as if a dam broke, her shoulders sagged, her face crumpling. She knew the truth had spilled into the open, and there was no clawing it back. The room felt too bright, the antiseptic scent overwhelming. I wanted to bolt, to escape the suffocating reality, but my legs wouldn't move. My voice, when it came, was quieter than I expected. "Who is he?" Emily squeezed her eyes shut, tears streaming down her cheeks. When she opened them, the fight had drained from her. "It was a mistake," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "A mistake. Like misplacing a key. Like forgetting an appointment." I exhaled slowly, the taste of betrayal bitter on my tongue. "How long?" I asked. She looked away, her voice a ghost of itself. 9 months. I nodded, the math searing into my mind. 9 months before we even knew she was pregnant. So before we started planning for him, I said, my voice flat. Tears fell freely now, her voice trembling. It didn't mean anything. I swallowed hard, the lump in my throat choking me. It meant everything to me. Silence enveloped us, thick and oppressive. The nurse cleared her throat, her discomfort palpable. "I'll give you two some space," she said, slipping out the door. Emily reached for my hand, her fingers brushing mine, but I jerked away. "Daniel, please," she begged, her voice breaking. I shook my head, my body thrumming with a volatile mix of fury and grief. "You knew, didn't you? Deep down, you knew. That's why you refused to give him my name." A sob tore from her throat, raw and anguished. "I was terrified," she whispered. I ran a hand through my hair, my chest tight with the weight of it all. "You should have told me." "I couldn't," she said, her voice barely a breath. I stared at her. The woman I'd vowed to love, the woman I thought I'd known inside and out. And then I did the unthinkable. I turned away. Her voice cracked as she called my name. But I kept moving, stepping into the hallway where the nurse stood, her eyes soft with unspoken empathy. I wasn't ready to face what lay ahead. The legal battles, the paternity tests, the shattering realization that the boy in that room, the boy I'd been ready to raise as my own, wasn't mine. But one truth anchored me. I deserved better. This time, I wouldn't let her steal my choice. I left the hospital that day, the sage walls fading behind me along with the birth certificate and the life I thought was mine. For the first time in months, I drew a full breath, the weight of deception lifting, if only slightly, as I stepped into the uncertain future.